So today's topic, are traditional roles in salsa and bachata outdated? Should we do an update on these roles? That is the topic. Hello, my beautiful subscribers. Rasa the dancer is here with you again. Now, today's topic is, do we think that the traditional roles of salsa and bachata, leading and following men and women, are a little bit outdated? And has it changed? And should it change? And should we change with it? I'm going to try and because it's a very wide topic and that has so many things that could be included. So I'm going to try and stick to the point on salsa and bachata and not go off in the society and all of those things. So when you watch this video, try not to get triggered and really try to see where I'm going with this. And of course, it'll be an interesting discussion to have later in the comments. But for now, I will really just give you my experience and what I really think, because I've been around in the scene for a really long time, over 20 years. And also, I am known as a lead. So I lead when I teach classes. I lead advanced classes and all of the rest. So as a woman, when I started leading, I was one of the first ones that I know. It was only one or two others that I could refer myself to. But I feel like I have an experience, a very interesting experience in the whole subject, because I'm kind of in it myself in different roles to start with. But there's so many nuances and I cannot wait to express them all the best way I can. So please be patient with me and let's get it started. So the truth is, these days in salsa and bachata classes, there is definitely more people who change roles. That means there's more men who follow and there's more women who lead. Now, let me break this down. It's not that it wasn't acceptable when I, for example, 20 years ago was starting to lead as a woman. It wasn't that at all. It's just, in general, women wouldn't prefer to do so. They just didn't, nobody came and said, I want to lead, and then was told, how dare you? You know what I mean? I'm sure there was few cases. Don't take me as 100%. But what I'm saying as a whole, it's just they didn't do it. You know what I mean? So it was a different time. And like women usually was assisting men. Men were dominating the scene. But again, if a woman would want to go and just do it, there was nothing I can only speak, of course, from my own experience. But when I started leading, I was leading, and then I started teaching as a lead, and I was leading it. And my mentor was always forcing me to lead, because he says, if you want to work on your own, you need to know how to lead. I was like, okay. And then I started getting work with it. And yes, I had to fight for certain better classes with some other male teachers. But the fight was more like, hey, I can do it too. And they're like, really? Yeah. Okay, take it. Okay. It wasn't like I had to fight for my life. So I think these days, the role reversal is more, and there's more men following and women leading, just because in general, in society, things are changing, and it influences in our dancing as well. So the more revolutionary things are happening in the society, the more revolutionary things will trickle down the line into the dance. But I don't really think that because of the dancing or something. It's just more acceptable in the society, and it's more acceptable in the dancing itself. It kind of is connected, right? But another important thing that I want to say, back in the day, also, we used to change roles all the time as part of our teaching. So we used to actually do classes even then where men would be leading, men would be following and women would be leading, just to get the feel of what it's like and to understand where, all it comes from. And now when people doing all of these classes on changing roles and how beneficial it is, and they pretending like they invented this and they revolutionary things and finally they are free to do what they want to do. I have no idea what they're talking about. We've been doing it, everybody's been doing it, and it's just like, you know. So for me, it's like it's very tricky because everybody is talking about a lot of like, finally we getting, you know, this opportunity to be free. And actually, opportunity, I think, in the dancing scene, salsa and bachata, I'm talking about, not other things. In salsa and bachata, everybody's super friendly and understanding. You always get people who are not okay with it, but it's just the way the cookie crumbles. But overall, as a majority, it's usually always been okay, and it is okay. Like, it's very rare. And somebody who doesn't want to dance with you, they're just going to skip you and not dance with you. But nobody's going to fight you and say, oh, you shouldn't do it. You know what I mean? So I feel like there's a lot of like, oh, we are free now, and finally women, you know, can have more money and this and that. I don't know. I wanted something, I asked it, I got it. It wasn't like this huge fight or something. It always was about how good you are. If you are better than your male companion or you're just as good, you will be okay. The problem is a lot of the women, even if they tried and they didn't succeed back in the day, a lot of the time they were not better than some of the other male teachers. They just weren't. They were really good, but they were not better. And the competition is normal. Like, it depends what you're going to have, depending on how skillful you are. And in the salsa bachata world, in terms of teaching and all of that, you have to be really good. So I guess what I'm saying, in the end of the day, to sum up, yes, these days the roles have changed much more. There's much more people who are doing the opposite sex dancing situation. But I think it's just a consequence of the scene expanding, more people dancing, and the way the society changing as a whole. But I truly don't think that is because we finally won some sort of revolutionary thing and that we should be so proud that we are more inclusive. I think the dancing scene in general has been quite inclusive as a whole in general. Now, I suggest that in general to have an open mind and acceptance of people living their lives. It's a nice thing to do. Okay? So that's my statement as a whole. I don't need to agree with somebody. I don't need to approve of their life choices. It doesn't affect me. Like, nothing will happen to me if I will just respect and understand where the person's coming from, right? So for example, as when I'm teaching, if I remember, because, you know, certain things are ingrained, if I remember, I will say leaders and followers instead of guys and girls, or instead of men and women, right? So if I see in my class, there are some people who are, you know, changing roles, like a guy is following and the woman is leading or something like that. If I remember, I'll say leaders and followers. Not because I think we should, and not because I think like everybody should do this. It doesn't, I don't know. I feel comfortable saying it. And in general, we use leading and following all the time. We say you have to lead better. You have to follow better. So for me to say lead and follow, I did it before anyway, as using it as a synonymous. So I sometimes would say guys, girls, come on leaders, come on followers. I would use it anyway. So if I can and I see that it kind of makes sense in the class that I have, I would use it. Why not? It does nothing to me, right? I'm not changing vocabulary. I'm not changing the words. I'm not including new words. I'm using the words that are available to me and I use them the best way I can. But that's just me. I don't think everybody should do it or something, but I feel like, why not? And it's also like if you are dancing in a circle, in a class, and let's say you are a guy. Usually women don't have this problem. By the way, this is you men. Usually, okay. So the guy, if you are leading, if you're a man and you are leading, and there's another man who is in the class learning how to follow, and you have a really, really big problem with that person dancing with you, right? So the guy comes and he wants to be the follower and you leading. Just say, I'm so sorry, but I don't feel comfortable. Is it okay if I don't dance with you as a follower? And that's it. And I say the same thing to the person who feels insulted, right? Relax. Not everybody wants to do what you want to do. The dancing scene is for everybody, hence why you're here. He is allowed not to dance with you, and you're allowed to do whatever you want to do. You're allowed to learn as a follower. You cannot force people to feel okay with something. It takes time to form opinions, and it takes time to decide who you are as a person. So as long as there's no rude behavior and nobody's swearing or telling other people what to do, in the class, I decide what people can and can't do, and then everybody else has to obey. You don't like it, you don't come to my classes. Simple as. There's other teachers you can learn from. But in the class, as long as everybody's polite, I'm okay people not dancing with other people, and I'm okay people doing what they need to do in order to swap roles. So I feel for myself personally, I never look at somebody and think whether he's gay, whether he's transvestite, whether he's this. You want to dance, you dance. It is not at all my problem what you do with your personal life. I am a woman and I am straight and I lead all the time. So, amount of times actually people said that I'm gay. And a lot of the times they would even think that my dance partner, sometimes Layla, that I use her for practicing, that she's gay, And it makes me laugh. They think that because they never, hear about me having boyfriends or something, because I keep my personal life private because it's my work. I don't share my personal with my work. But yeah, the amount of times somebody would say, oh, I thought you're gay. And I'll be like, okay. I don't even correct them. I know what I am. I don't need to tell somebody of what I am. I'm perfectly happy with my life, my individuality. So I think we need to just chill out. If you have opportunity to make people feel more inclusive and comfortable, the question is, why wouldn't you? And one of the reasons why wouldn't you is because everything is a little bit heightened. But in general, I try to completely ignore everything and just think somebody wants to lead, somebody wants to follow. I use the vocabulary that is available to me, and I'm trying to make sure everybody's comfortable. If they're super unhappy and I think that they are in the right, I will apologize. And I'm super comfortable with that within myself. The final point I want to make is this, that I think is super important. The more you push, the more pushback you're going to receive. So what I mean by this, a lot of the people who are into role swapping, they will come and they make huge statements that immediately whether makes other people feel like they've been doing something wrong, or it makes them feel like a little bit on the defensive. But then you have these people who actually maybe do have a problem with role reversing, right? So let's say there's some man who is like, I really disapprove of another guy following. Now, before that guy comes and starts saying, this place is so disrespectful, blah, blah, blah. You need to include more people. You need to use different language. You need to this, that. Before that, that person who was against the other person probably would be thinking to himself that, but would think, okay, well, it's a public space. He came to dance, and he would just leave that person alone, because it's for everybody, right? As soon as he will be pushed, that's when he would start tripping and push back and start being nasty and start calling you names and start doing this. Now, I'm not saying one or the other somehow needs to stop or something. What I'm trying to say is sometimes you come in already guns blazing and there's no problem. You know what I mean? You just gone through things and experienced maybe some things in some other places, in some other spaces. So you gotta come in every single time as just a person, not a person who wants to be swapping roles, not a gay or transvestite or something. You come as a person who wants to dance. And if everybody else is just treating the dance environment and classes as a place where people come and learn specific skills. There will be no problems. The teachers will take over. We set up the rules and boundaries, and everybody's going to be hunky-dory. But if you come in and you suddenly say, it is unacceptable that that guy is going to be now a follower. It's like, yeah, so it's unacceptable that me as a woman is leading and teaching your class. You came to my class. You don't have a problem with me, but you have a problem with him. Like, it makes no sense, right? I can set the boundaries. Like, or if, somebody comes in and is like, you should use the word follow and lead. It's like, I know. And I made that decision for myself. But I don't think you should tell me this, because when you come into the class, like if I am going into a class, I don't care whether they're saying girl, man, woman, animal, he, she, it. I don't care. I'm here. I understand it's not personal. I understand I'm the minority. I know that in the class mostly will be guys leading and women following. And I'm a woman and I'm going to be leading. And if they say they, I know it's me. You know what I mean? It's like, why do you have to? Why? Just relax. Not everybody is going to do everything right all the time. Not everybody can be happy all the time. But why are you focusing? Why is it personal? Why everybody is insulted all the time? We need to take a breath and understand most of the time things are not personal. If we understand that, we can maybe relax a little bit and have a better time. So, the more push you're going to give, the more pushback you're going to get. So I think we need to just chill a little bit and just let people do what they need to do and understand things ain't always about you. I want to finish by thanking you for watching, of course, and also just adding that, remember, these are my thoughts, my experiences, and my observations through many years of teaching and actually having experience in the role swapping myself. But of course, everybody goes through different experiences and they have a different view about things. And that's what the comments are there for. Make sure you're not rude. This topic can be triggering and sensitive to some people. So make sure whatever you do, you sincerely express your opinion. But don't call people names and, just be nasty, right? Because that's not efficient conversation. Now, thank you very much. And guys, I'm going to leave you with other videos here that you can check out, and subscribe to the channel. Give me some love so we could grow and have so many new things coming your way. Hopefully you stick with me and we can experience them together. I send you my kiss. See you soon.